What's up, everybody? It's Joshua Freeman. It's Brian Carey, and welcome to the first ever Top Rope Tier List.
Yeah, for the first rendition of this show, we're going to do wrestlers exclusively from the active roster.
Yes, no retired wrestlers. We're not doing Hulk Hogan. We're not doing any dead wrestlers or anything like that. Only current wrestlers, okay? All right. First wrestler, we have Otis.
I give him a D.
Interesting. Why is that?
He's the worst type of babyface, and I just simply don't enjoy his work. And in my opinion, he peaked during his heavy machinery phase, in which he tag teamed with Tucker, who's been released for years at this point. But he's only been utilized in comedic spots and just the way he sells and the back and forth with Chad Gable. It's kind of soured me on him. I really don't care to see him on my TV that much.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree. I actually rated him a D tier also. I felt he was a good comedy wrestler that can get the crowd hype, but not much after that. And I think maybe after the main event match with him and Chad Gable at WrestleMania, he can go up a tier. Other than that, he gonna be a D tier wrestler at this point because
Casket match.
no like that. I don't know, but yeah, he's a D tier at this point because he's just a comedy wrestler. And yeah, he can get the crowd hype, but after that, he doesn't do much. So
People love stupid, goofy, over the top things. I'm comfortable being in the minority. Maybe Otis is for you, but he's not for me. Doesn't sound like he's for you either.
oh no, I mean he's entertaining, but other than that, he's not gonna do much. So I mean, he's not gonna beat Roman Reigns for the championship or something. So, so
Well,
I mean,
he actually was Mr. Money in the Bank at one point. You know that, right?
interesting.
During the
That's probably
pandemic period.
that's probably when he was yeah, it's probably a different time at that. Yeah.
Well, he's still a comedy character though. They let him win the match, but they had no plans for him actually cashing in. There's no way he's gonna. This is when Roman was the champion.
No.
Otis was not cashing in on Roman Reigns, so why even have him win the damn thing?
Yeah. All right, next. Braun Strowman. I have him as a B tier. I think at this moment he's a B tier because he can be a superstar talent, but his booking isn't serious at the moment. And I think he still loses matches against Judgment Day. He just lost against Damien, like straight. So I think he's B tier, but he can definitely be an A tier and even an S tier. I definitely
Josh,
think
get the
he.
fuck out of here. You're getting carried away. I tried to be quiet, but I just couldn't. You're getting carried away here.
Go. What do you think?
I have him as a C.
Interesting.
Injuries and inconsistent booking have plagued him for the longest time, and then he did an interview. Well, the Undertaker did an interview, which he said that he told Braun Strowman that he should be more protective of his character, and Braun is not taking that advice. Like you'll see him not taking himself seriously, and like he'll post something goofy on Instagram with him in a tutu. I understand kayfabe might be dead, but with him not protecting his character, that only does him more of a disservice as him being the resident big man. And right now he's a resident big man jobber. He's losing matches he shouldn't be doing, and WWE has no major plans for him moving forward. I don't see. I think they just pretty much are going to use him as the spot they did with the Big Show. They need a big man for a big spot to make somebody else look good. If this guy picks you up over his head and throws you outside of the ring or does something cool like that, wow, that guy's really strong. That's what he's going to be used for. He's not. I don't see him having anything meaningful going on unless there's a drastic change in his direction.
I do think he has the potential if he definitely can change some stuff up with as far as his booking and just other things. But yeah, I'd say B tier for me.
Yeah,
Finn Balor.
I give Finn a B. He is an underrated talent, and he's certainly capable of much more. I don't know if he's actually going to get more just because of his current positioning on the card and the depth of talent we have there. He's not the most interesting. I'll give you that. But I do enjoy his work, and he's got a nice reward with the run with the tag team championships with JD McDonough currently. Don't really have too much negative to say.
Yeah, I agree. I had him on a B tier. I think he's good in the ring and his character isn't bad, but I do think B is probably his peak. I
Unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't see him as a singles champion at this point in time. Maybe a United States or Intercontinental Championship in the future, but I think that's still B tier, which is where he at right now. So, like I said, I think B is his peak, but like he's good though. Like,
which is a shame because he was the inaugural Universal Champion,
mm,
but he got injured during that match, and Seth Rollins won the championship after, or I think it was Kevin Owens. It was Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins. Anyhow, but he actually beat Roman Reigns during like his second match on Raw. So they presented him, but once he got injured, it's like he's never seen that same level of success, and he's limited by maybe his size or some other things. But even under Triple H, I don't know why they haven't exactly done much to push him more than what they have currently. But we'll give it some time. But I really do think that probably was his peak, as you said. Liv Morgan, I
hmm.
give her an A,
Well,
which is
I was supposed to go first, but okay, keep going.
excuse me,
Yeah, you're good.
sorry.
Hey,
Yeah,
what?
her ring work isn't the best, but her character work has bolstered her positioning in my rankings, and she's currently involved in the hottest storyline on Raw, or one of the hottest storylines on Raw, and that was in part a lot to what she has to offer. And yeah, I mean, I'll give her that. I don't think that she'll ever necessarily be S tier. I don't think everybody like, S tier is no changes needed. Everything you're doing is perfect. Not everybody's going to be S tier. If everyone's S tier, then we have to have SS tier or something like that. But I think what she's doing right now is effective, and I'll give her that. Her acting has gotten better. It used to be abysmal.
Interesting. I disagree. Had her as a B tier wrestler. I think she can be good on the mic, and her character isn't bad. It's just her presence in the ring, what you pretty much said, doesn't always make her formidable. I also think the Harley Quinn routine wouldn't have been as effective if she wasn't trying to steal Dominic Mysterio, because I didn't think it was working before Rhea's injury at all. But I had her as a B tier, and I think she could definitely be an A tier though.
Okay. Gunther.
Okay, Gunther. I actually have him as a S tier. I think this is no surprise. He's a great at everything, great on the mic, great in ring, great character work. So, I mean, I don't think there's really any controversy with this.
No. I
Yeah.
I also have as an S tier for a little bit of a different reason. He's a throwback to the old Smash Mouth heels of yesteryear. So the JBLs, the Fit Finleys, the William Regals, the guys who it wasn't pretty, they were just going to beat the hell out of you. And what I like about him in particular is that a rare breed of heel. He doesn't need to cheat to win. He's just better than you, and he's not afraid to let you know it either. So that is very refreshing from a landscape standpoint. You don't see many heels like that, and yeah, his arrogant promos, I do enjoy them, like the little barbs he puts in against his opponents, slice them to pieces. Also adds to it. It's interesting. Prior to this week, I haven't seen people criticize his promo work and not be a real fan of it. But after this Monday, I started to see that, which is strange to me. But I don't think he's not Paul Heyman on the mic, but I don't think he has to be. When people start to not like somebody, they start to not like what they do, even though the person, without a doubt, the person's the best at playing what they do. Because I don't like what you said, I'm going to discredit your work. That could be it, but I would like to think that people would understand we're in the confines of sports entertainment, and this is a scripted product that they'd be able to discern that. But sensitivity, times we're in, I get it.
'Cause you got to think about like what he said about the whole street trash remark. That was the catalyst to what happened the week after with Damien coming out and just knocking him upside the head, and just like how the feud escalated with them basically going personal. So, yeah, I mean, like what he said wasn't bad at all because it helped escalate it even bit further. So no, I don't understand. I don't understand the criticism. So that's why I feel it was like that. Next, Grayson Waller.
I give him a D. He needs to be repackaged like yesterday.
Crazy, man. This man S tier. You crazy.
Josh, he needs repackaging. That's what he's currently doing just isn't working, but he's not irredeemable. I will add that. I would give somebody an F if They just couldn't get anything right. They've been given multiple chances. Nothing is working. They're just not great. They don't need to be there. But he's he's a he's a great talent. He does lots of things well. But what he's currently doing right now just isn't clicking. And hopefully we have an opportunity to see what he's capable of under the proper booking, under the proper gimmick sometime soon, as it appears that him and his partnership with Theory is coming to an end sometime soon. Sooner
Mhm.
rather than later, I hope.
Yeah, I agree. I had him as a D tier also. He hasn't done much in ring that's really impressive to me. His mic work is all right. I just don't think he's good enough right now to be a C tier wrestler. I agree with you that F tier, yeah, he's completely unredeemable. Get him out of here. But I mean, I think he can do something, but I don't think he'll ever be a S tier, of course, and probably not even be an A tier. So I mean,
No.
so yeah, but I have him as a D tier though.
Okay. Sami Zayn.
Yes, I have him as an A tier wrestler. I think he's great on the mic and in ring. And I like his underdog character too. I think sometimes it could get a little bit annoying, but I do like it. But I do think there's levels to this whole superstardom thing, so I wouldn't put him on the same level as a Gunther because I don't think he could consistently beat a Gunther or a Roman Reigns, even though he beat Gunther at WrestleMania. I don't think he can consistently do that because he just how his character is set up as the underdog type of character, you know. He's not this dominant.
All right. Well, I also have Sami Zayn as an A tier
Okay.
wrestler, and I chose him for a little bit different reason. He's finally getting his due, and I'm enjoying his ring work even despite the odd Money in the Bank booking, which was completely questionable. Just because I don't agree with the booking doesn't mean I don't like the damn wrestler. I just want to get that out there. People don't understand complex thoughts, so you have to break them down at multiple levels. And particularly what I enjoy about him the most is his transition from being the ultimate underdog to being the wily veteran. Because at this point, to call him an underdog, I think that's doing him a disservice. He has proven time and time again that he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster. And just with him having so much experience and being able to outsmart younger wrestlers, that's exactly the story they told with the Braun Breaker match. And it fits him at this point. So I think if they lean a little bit more heavily into that and show his in-ring prowess, his knowledge, his capabilities, just how much of a how cunning he can be, I think that's the direction they need to continue going. If they do that, they have a win on their hands there.
Next up, Bailey.
Bailey, I gave her a B. The hugger without the hugs, she is slowly winning me over. I do like how she is becoming more cunning and not taking any shit from anyone. And then how she's also kind of boarding, making some kind of heelish remarks. It makes her a little bit more interesting. Like the promo exchange with Nia, how she kind of like bit back at her, and we had a good laugh at that. But I do think that she's doing some really good work currently. Despite her initial run when she first became champion, it wasn't necessarily the most interesting. Bailey does not have the best track record with being a face, but she's starting to get into her groove and find her lane.
Okay. I actually have her as an A tier. I think the only thing that's stopping Bailey from being a S tier status is her character work. Her babyface character isn't much to be desired as her heel character was. And I think her heel character was way better, and way more compelling. I think she's still great in the ring though, and she could still be great, Mike. But I think that's really just the only thing that's stopping her from being S tier. And I want to ask you this: you put Liv Morgan as an A tier and then Bailey as a B tier. Are you saying
No,
Liv what?
I'm not saying that she can beat her. Like
Okay.
if you want to say, okay, sure, in a one-on-one scenario, absolutely not. But Josh, do you really think that Liv Morgan versus Bailey would be a one-on-one match? Dominic Mysterio will come out there and try to cost her the
Come
match
on.
and end up helping her. So
Come on,
this
man.
I want to be clear. So I really do think that if that's the case, yes, Liv would win.
That
But
actually makes it makes her even less. Oh, that should have put her at an A tier then if Dominic Mysterio has
but
to come
listen,
every
I'm
time.
talking about what she's. I want to be clear. I rank the people, these wrestlers, based off what they're currently doing and how it's working. That's the most important thing.
Dominic Mysterio coming out for every match is not working at this
That's
point. With
essentially
the
part of her. That's
with the
part of her move set.
with the cage match with Braun Breaker running around like a clown and then hitting the
Bro,
door against Becky. Like that was not it, man.
it's Josh.
It's just interesting how you did a complete 180 on Liv. It seems like you did it. Now it seems like you love her, and we're just
No,
like,
I'm not saying that. I
okay,
don't. I'm not exactly her biggest fan, but I can acknowledge something's working.
interesting.
I just said that.
Okay,
The most important thing is it working?
all right, that's Bailey though.
All right, Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy Uso, yes, I have him as a D tier wrestler.
Dude, don't let Rikishi hear you say that.
Uh, yeah, Jimmy has not had much of an identity since Jay left the bloodline. He does not win. He does not win at all. He's just there. His move set isn't that compelling with the whole super kicks and everything. But he's not completely unredeemable, I feel, because he's still entertaining. Like he still can be entertaining during certain spots. More entertaining than
Yes.
Tangaloa.
Can he?
So
I have a
yeah,
theory.
yeah, he can be more entertaining than well, I mean Tangaloa is entertaining by a fucking accident by botching
Yeah,
the low blows. Yeah.
for a negative reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think he can still be entertaining. So I have him as a D tier wrestler.
That is, you started reading that off like a teacher defending. You know how when they write the student's behavior on the report
Uh-huh.
card, like talks too
Yeah.
much in class, and that's the vibe that I got from that. I also put Jimmy as a D tier wrestler. No yeet. His entire identity is the fact that he is not Jay. If you took Jay away, who is he? His whole like even leading up to the WrestleMania match, he had no Yeet shirts in red because you know what? Jimmy had blue ones. Has no idea, like you said, you summed it up perfectly. He has no identity outside of himself,
Yeah.
outside of Jay, rather.
Just Big Brother. All right, next up, Dominic Mysterio.
I give Dominic Mysterio an A.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I gave him and Liv both A's. And my justification, he's a certified heat magnet. And his ring work is, if you think about it, go back and watch his matches. I know this is a little bit early for you, maybe. I think this was maybe during the stint where you weren't watching as much. But his in-ring work has improved drastically compared to when they were trying to make him the second coming of Rey Mysterio, when they're trying to make him wrestle in the exact same style as Papa Ray. Of course, he does throw in the Three Amigos and the 619 to taunt his dad and the Frog Splash and things like that. But he's much more limited. There were other moves that he would incorporate into his moveset, and he would do far more. And now he does less, but he gets more done, and he's more effective as a wrestler, which is a very interesting thing to see. But
Mhm.
with that being said, he's also involved in the hottest storyline, and he's the biggest heel that WWE has right now. I'll give him an A.
Interesting. I have Dominic Mysterio as a B tier wrestler. I think he has great character work. He's good in the ring, but I don't think he's good enough yet to be an A tier wrestler simply because he can't win a match on his own. He needs either Liv Morgan or he definitely can't win it against his dad on his own. So, um, so yeah, I have him as a B tier wrestler, but he could definitely be an A tier wrestler. But I don't think he's good enough yet because he definitely has the heel work and the character work. Because yeah, and he's definitely good in the ring too.
Who's next? Angelo Dawkins.
Yes, interesting. This one. I have him as a C tier wrestler.
Okay.
I think his I know this is one of your favorites. I think his in-ring work is the best thing about him. His character work is all right, but he can be as good as an A tier wrestler if he's utilized correctly. And I don't think he's being utilized correctly at this current juncture being in the Street Profits. Not necessarily that saying that's necessarily holding him back, but I don't think the Street Profits is being utilized to his
No.
fullest capability. So whether he has to be on his own or not, if he's utilized correctly, he can be an A tier wrestler because he's very good in the ring, and I want to see him more on the mic too and see how he is on the mic. So but yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I give him a B actually.
I would
And
figure.
I said it's a shame that he's yet to capture tag team main roster gold. Can you believe that him and Montez Ford have never been tag team champions?
That's the other thing. That's what I feel
It's
like. If you
insane.
I can't put you as a B tier if you're not you haven't been tag team champions yet.
He's criminally underrated.
Uh,
The one thing that really irks me is his attire, and that could, when it comes to presentation, that does matter. And just the gym class Harlem Globetrotters fit, I'm just not digging it. I would really be interested to see what he does if they gave him more, because right now Montez is kind of like more the mouthpiece for the Street Profits. They gave him
mhm.
more opportunity to do some of the talking. Maybe that's one of his weak points. I don't know, but it just seems that Montez does shine a little bit more when it comes to that facet. And then what he might do post Street Profits with a different gimmick change or something like that. But he's incredibly intense in the ring. He has a great hot tag, as we've said before, and he can do things that somebody of his stature might not be able to do in terms of somebody who does. He's deceptively athletic, and that's the one thing that I think that separates him from Montez Ford is people want to see Montez Ford with a solo run, and he captures people's attention because of his look, the physique. I think if Angelo Dawkins had the same style of build as Montez Ford, people would be clamoring for the very same thing. I think that's the only thing that separates
Hmm.
the main
Interesting.
thing that separates them rather.
Next up, Jade Cargill.
Uh-oh. I give her a C.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Doesn't mean I don't like her. I love Jade Cargill.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe I should give her a B since she was a tag team champion before. Shut up, Josh. But I give her a C just because her acting, that's what it is. When that Bianca promo when you were talking about that when we were shooting Two Smart Marks, the show that you can watch every Saturday here on the Infusion Network, or you can watch it in the audio platforms that we have listed below. The acting is just terrible, and it's not really. It doesn't do her any justice. But in terms of like her in ring capabilities, she's an absolute physical specimen. She does things that very few women on the roster can do, and it's incredibly impressive. But it's just I would love to see her continue to refine her craft, and if she can get her character work down and improve her acting skills, I think she could really make a ton of improvement and go all the way from C to at least an A tier, at least. I mean, this is she has all the raw material. It's just a matter of can we make these improvements in a believable amount of time or a reasonable amount of time.
Hmm. Interesting. I might have overrated her, but I put her as a B tier. I think
You
her
definitely
in
did.
ring, I think her, I think her in ring work is good, not great. Her mic work is all right, not good, and her character is good, not great. But she needs improvement in all areas because I think she can be as good as an S tier because I think she has that look about her, and I think she can definitely be up there with a Bianca or a Becky Lynch or something like that. If she can just work on all and just get better at those things, will she? It'll be interesting, but I just had her as a B tier. I definitely could be overrated. She definitely could be C, but I just think with her potential, man, she should be at least a B tier at this point. I feel.
Oh, we're rating on right now.
Yeah.
As of right now, you gave her a B. I can't say I'm mad at it.
Yeah.
It's just that I was just after that promo, and I just saw how it was just the ad libbing, and then the one a few weeks ago where Bianca was heading out for the match and before the curtains, and it just didn't. I don't know whether it's what she's scripted or whether she's ad libbing or whatever the case might be, but it's like when she speaks, it's not nothing of consequence. It doesn't add anything to the segment. It's just oh, she's talking.
Yeah, that's another reason why I feel maybe we should just split them up and see how she does on her own with the mic work and see if it's just some type of chemistry thing or something like that. But put her on her own and see how she is, and then we'll see if she can actually grow and actually get better on her own.
Or
But
hell, run an angle where Bianca gets attacked and she's solo and has like a one-on-one mic exchange with
yeah,
someone or something. Like
yeah,
it doesn't have to be an immediate split right now, but
yeah,
let's explore.
yeah.
See what she
Or
can do.
have her simply have her do a little bit more, and see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Carmelo Hayes.
Yes, this one was hard, man. I felt a lot of these second round ones was look kind of hard, but Carmelo, I wanted to put him on a B tier so bad, but I had to put him on a C tier. I had to. I wanted to put him on a B tier though because his moves in the ring are great. His mic work is really good, and I feel his heel character is really entertaining. But I feel like what is stopping him from being higher though is he's
World
not
Tag
really
Team
always
Champion.
winning. He's not winning that much, and he hasn't been a champion at all too. So like definitely talented to be a B and even an A, but I just feel like he can at this point in time he has to be a C simply because like he hasn't done much. And he's only been up for a short period of time too, so I can't even blame like creative or anything like that at this point in time because he hasn't been there much. But I think he should probably be winning more. He did pick up a triple threat win against Randy Orton and I forgot who else for the Money in the Bank qualifier, but that was
Tama
really
Tonga.
yeah, but that was really about much it. So but I wanted to put him on a B tier, but because he's just that talented. But at this point, he's a C tier for me.
You kind of want to make me to second guess myself a little bit on Carmelo. I did give him a B
Yeah.
because and I will say that the caveat here, he has a lot of potential, but we're not grading on potential.
hmm
P word doesn't matter. Not that one at least. The grade that I gave him, I justified that is because he's very good in the ring. His heel gimmick, I think it suits him very well. I'd rather see that as opposed to the scrappy baby face. And he's he's not quite reaching the same levels he was when he was in NXT. I don't know whether it's due to just the oversaturation of talent they have on the roster and the lack of stuff that they've given him to work with, but it does appear that he's cooling off rapidly. He went from being in the main event of SmackDown with Cody Rhodes on his first night. The first he was wasn't he like the number one draft pick during the first round or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, number one draft pick, fighting Cody Rhodes in the main event, and he's still getting considerable amount of TV time, but he's cooled down quite a bit. And
He also fought Randy Orton too.
yeah, fought Randy Orton and lost, and got that triple threat win. He's fought Andrade and lost. I mean, I do get you have several fair points. He has
I'll
he's
fight
about
him again and lose too.
yeah, it's about a 50-50 win ratio on the main roster, just about in regular matches. So I can get what you're saying about that. He hasn't really done anything. One thing that could limit him, I really do think it could limit him. I really hope that it doesn't.
Guys.
It's just the size.
Mm.
It's just obvious. There's no way he's not 5'10". He's not. You know how the build height and build weight type deal.
hmm
He's not 5'10".
Mm.
I give him 5'8". Mr. Yeet himself, Jey Uso.
Hmm. Jay Uso, man, this one is okay. I had him as a B tier. But it's like, yo, it's borderline C tier. Like, it's like
B minus.
he's about to yeah, he's falling off the cliff. Like he's hanging up with one pinky, basically. Like I think his character is getting old. His move set is okay. His in-ring work is all right. And he can't win a meaningful match. So that's why I want to put it like just because how the crowd reacts to him. Man, fuck it. He's a C tier. Fuck it, I'm putting it as a C. I'm changing it right now. He's a C tier wrestler. I can't. I'm sorry because there's a lot. He has a lot of fans, and I know a lot of people love him. But at this point, he can't. He's just getting old. Like he can't win a meaningful match. He has to be a C tier. I would be doing people a disservice if I put him as a B tier. I can't.
Just say it. You're not feeling Usi, Josh.
Yeah, I can. Nah, no yeet, no yeet, man.
All right. I actually did put him as a B myself.
Interesting.
I did. And my justification is he's ridiculously over. He's clicking. And it's one of these things where I'm with you, I'm in the minority. It's just not doing it for me. He has been watered down to three things: yeet, saying oos every other word, and super kicks. I'm so serious. If you take those three things away, what is he? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. He's a far cry from when he was feuding with Roman Reigns and attempting to usurp him as the tribal chief. That was a very interesting and
yeah.
dynamic character, and complete night and day to this current version. Right now, we're having this hip hop adjacent version that comes out with Lil Wayne rapping a Millie at WrestleMania, and possibly one of the
2024.
worst in 2024, one of the worst guest appearances that just came completely left field.
Might as well came out and brung 50 Cent rapped in the club.
That probably would have been a little bit more appropriate, and just the kind of vibe it was given. But I say that he's like his brother. He's tremendously gifted. Not gonna take that away from him. One of the best tag teams of all time. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about him as a singles wrestler right now, and it's just not clicking. I'm not enjoying what he's currently doing. I would like to see him have a little bit more range, a little bit more depth, but I don't think this is it doesn't seem like WWE or him they care to improve it. So I mean, if you ask me this question in a month from now, I might that might do it for me. I might just put him as a C because he's cooling off fast.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. I mean, sure people want to put the cell phones up and show the lights and do the dance and can he win a fucking match?
Or meaningful anyone anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Or does he do any more moves? Not
That's
exactly impressing anybody with his move set.
that's who I was talking about when I was saying like I would have put him as this, but when I list the reasons, I can't put him as that. So that's why I was like, I'm trying to, I can't. Like his character's getting old, his move set is just like the same. Like I can't. I want to. I love Jay, but I
You know
can't.
what? They're gonna try to push him when nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to give him like a they're gonna make him Mr. Money in the Bank next year.
Yeah. After the bloodline stuff, it is
Yeah,
possible. Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. Interesting. I have him as an S tier. I have him as S tier, and I think that's simply because he's been great in all facets. In the in ring, he's great. Just how he is, his character is great. Um, everything about him, his move set has been great. Is great too. The feud that he's currently in with CM Punk has been great. Just how they've been handling it, the whole build up to it for their match at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins coming in as the referee with Drew attacking and elbowing Adam Pearce and then getting suspended again. I just think this whole thing is just hilarious. Yeah, you're getting fined. I'm gonna fine you.
He
So yeah,
threatened to suspend them. Like he said, if whoever lays the first hand on the other, they'll be suspended indefinitely. It's like Adam, who gives a flying fuck? Everybody in this segment has been suspended by you indefinitely at some point, and nothing happened. They come back the next week.
yeah, it's funny, but yeah, yeah. So I have him as S tier. It'll be interesting to hear what you have him as.
S tier.
Oh, okay.
He's currently doing some of the best work. Well, he's currently doing the best work of his career, and I think one of the things that really does set him apart, and it really helped him catch a lot of traction, is his work on social media and how he incorporates things from across the wrestling continuity. So this past week, he actually posted a picture. It actually got taken down. I don't know why, but I think I know why. He posted a picture with Jack Perry. Do you know who Jack Perry is?
No, who is it?
Jack Perry is the wrestler that CM Punk got into a fight with in AEW. That was the last straw that got CM Punk fired. It was a big ordeal. And so he posted a picture on social media next to Jack Perry, like pointing at him and smiling. And and it's just things like that that push the envelope because I'm pretty sure the higher ups they weren't necessarily happy about that, but he pushes the envelope so much and incorporates different things and the jabs and barbs he makes at CM Punk and his other opponents on social media.
Mhm.
It makes him truly entertaining, and it really shows his wit and how crafty he could be. I do really enjoy that. So shout out to Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the social media stuff, but yeah, I agree. This just makes it his character makes it even better. So yeah.
That's how a lot of wrestlers that really get popping, because it's more of an organic build to them. Like Becky Lynch, she really cut her teeth on social media when she was big time Bex and when she first became the man and how she was pretty much going back and forth with she had a spat with Edge on Twitter. She had a spat with several other the women's wrestlers and she was pretty much cutting promos via tweets. and it's a
Mm.
way for it's pretty much like a way for them to get extra credit work outside of the 9 to 5. And so at a certain point, you reach a critical mass where you can't be ignored. You're just so over.
You're basically it's like working on your day off. It's like
Yeah,
doing outside, yeah, doing outside work. Yeah.
yeah, and it shows.
Yeah. All right. Next is Chad Gable.
Okay, Chad Gable, I gave him a B.
Oh my God.
I
Oh,
I, I love Chad Gable,
oh man.
and I think that he's settling well into his partnership with the Creeds. However, they have yet to do anything meaningful or of substance. Like he clicked up with them for what? The Wyatt Six and Uncle Howdy are going to destroy you. So I don't know what that really is. He's still a little bit too goofy for my liking, but I do think that they are. I'm trusting the process with this. They're moving the pieces slowly but surely, and I do think that he's going to be a key part in the vision for the company moving forward. But as of what he's doing right now, I think that it's fitting of a B. He gets considerable screen time. Every time he's in the ring for a match, it's consistently a banger. Name a bad Chad Gable match. Oh wait,
I didn't say he had bad matches.
that's my point exactly. So I stand on that. I'd love to hear what your ranking for this is. Probably not too far off.
I have him as a C tier wrestler at this point, simply
Interesting.
because, yeah, um, he had that win when he came back from the brink of death with the Y6, but other than that, he hasn't been winning at all. At this right now, he just got with the Creed brothers. I just feel like their union wasn't as authentic as we wanted it to be because I feel like they should have jumped Otis and Alpha Academy about weeks ago. Yeah, so now he's doing it now after he just begged them again, by the way, to join him because he I says he's needed Alpha Academy. So before he jumped him, he actually begged them too to say like, "Come on, like this is your last time, like join me, so we
Yeah.
can protect me against the White Six, and we can because he's going after you too." So it's just like little stuff like that. But I mean, I do think Chad has potential though. He can definitely be a B tier, maybe even an A tier if they utilize him correctly. Particularly if they maybe even had him win against Sammy and became the actual champion. But I guess they have other plans with him and see what they're actually going to do with him. Get him beat by the Wyatt Six. But I don't think that really,
And then what?
yeah, like I don't think that helps him getting beat by Wyatt Six. I
It
mean,
doesn't.
they give him something to do, but him and the Creed brothers.
Unless unless it drastically alters him and makes him change direction.
Mhm.
Like maybe after that he gets more serious. I could see that being a possible benefit to him, if anything.
Yeah. Next up,
Jacob Fatu.
yes. I have him as a D tier. I'm kidding.
I knew you were kidding. I didn't take you seriously, not for a millisecond.
I have him as an A tier wrestler.
Oh,
Simply because he can do it all in the ring, really. He can do it all in the ring. I like his character, like the Samoan werewolf, this just savage monster. This is just come out and just obliterate everybody, no matter if it's Randy, Kevin Owens, or Cody Rhodes. But I think the only thing that's really lacking with him is, of course, his you haven't heard him speak on the mic. So I mean you heard him dick ride
I
solo.
love you,
Yeah,
my tribal chief.
you heard him dick ride solo, but yeah, I never heard him speak on the mic. You can't do that wrong. I love you, my tribal chief. You can't do that wrong. God damn,
Which
get
is,
it.
but yeah, that's another topic. But my ranking, I put him as an S tier
Oh my god.
because everything they have not misstepped. In particular, to just him, everything in terms of his presentation they've done correctly. I wouldn't change anything. I would change things with the other people in the bloodline of how they should interact on screen. But
Mhm.
he's just doing his job so well. And the Samoan werewolf gimmick, it's an absolute hit. He moves in a way that somebody his size should not be able to. He has an intensity. He has been consistently presented as the biggest threat in the bloodline when it comes to anybody else on the roster. Since I mean, just look a few weeks ago where he took out, was it DIY, Theory and Waller, what they've done to Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. I mean, he's demolished all of them. Nobody's even came close to having, and Street Profits this week. No one's ever came close to putting anything that comes to a meaningful dent in his armor, and I'm a fan of it.
All right.
All right.
And for the last one, we actually had a surprise one, which we did not let the other person know who the actual wrestler is. But it is your surprise one is Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar. What would I give him? I give him a C.
Interesting.
He's great in the ring. He has a great look. He has a solid move set. He has a faction which gives him a little bit of support. I think he can cut a better promo than Andrade, despite Spanish being his native language, his first
Yeah.
language. Um, I think the main thing that limits him is just his inconsistent booking. They've cooled him off tremendously after his feud with Rey Mysterio, when he was possibly, like I said, one of the most hated heels on the roster, and now he's just another guy. Nothing feels special about him. And so until they rehab that, nothing else matters.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would pretty much agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, for you, Ilya Dragunov.
Elio Dragunov. I think I'll probably have to put him as a C tier at this point in time also. Same as Santos Escobar. I'll put him as a C tier because he hasn't, even though he's very talented in the ring, he hasn't been really getting much wins at all. He just
No.
lost to Braun Breaker. He just had a
Again?
apparently injury. Yeah, I'm, yeah, I don't know the record between them two, but but he just lost to him again. So he hasn't been winning that much since he's been called up. I think he's limited by his size. But he's very talented and he can put on a good match though. So I think he's C at this point. And for as his potential though, I think he can be with his size, he could definitely be a B tier, definitely. I think he could be an A tier too. But it just depends on what they would actually do with him because he hasn't been winning that much. It's
No.
kind of in the same vein as Carmelo, you know. He's just a new guy, hasn't been winning that much, but extremely talented and has really good potential. But I'll
These
put him
are
at C
NXT
tier.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually put him as a B, and
Okay.
I agree with a lot of things you said. He's incredibly intense. I'm gonna draw a comparison to an individual who, for obvious reasons, they're not favorable, but we're all adults here. We can be sensible and make reasonable deductions and understand what the hell I'm trying to say. But his intensity reminds me of Chris Benoit
Mm.
in terms of that, just how gritty he was in next level intensity. I might add. If you look back at his work in NXT, which is you don't have to look far back, he just came to the main roster a few months ago. He was an absolute force. And the way he's presented on the main roster, you still see the same intensity, but he's kind of all bark and no bite in terms of he's not getting the job done.
Yeah.
And there's a comparison. There are a few things I don't like about him, and I'll tell you right now, it's his selling and the theatrics he does, the yelling and all that. It reminds me, Josh, it reminds me of a toddler when the parent is trying to put them to bed. You know how the toddler's like fighting to get the extra burst of energy and they're like, ah, yelling and stuff like that? That's what he reminds me of.
I felt like this. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I feel like oh he's he can a person can sell too much and he does that.
Yes,
And it's just like,
way too much.
okay, like it's okay, we get it. It was kind of reminding me of literally when Montez Ford's name was working on Montez Ford leg, doing he was like, just yelling, and I was just like, okay, Montez, come on, like, come on,
He
what are
was
we?
he was sounding like he was in a Saw movie or
Yeah,
something like that.
like we get it. Come on, like, it's just like
And
you can oversell, and yes, he does. Ilio does that a lot.
every week,
Yes. Yep.
And just like like if he tones that down, picks up some wins, and cuts out all the gimmicks, like where he gets in the corner and whatever the fuck this is, and it's like, dude, just go to bed. If he cuts that out and just if he gets in this like complete no nonsense, like if he does what Gunther does, like when's the last time you seen Gunther taunt an opponent? Gunther comes out there and he beats you up and leaves. If
Yeah.
he does that, because he actually beat Gunther for the WWE, excuse me, NXT UK Heavyweight Championship. That's
Mhm.
where their history comes from. And if they're eventually gonna run that feud back, but at this point, there Ilya he doesn't have any aura. Gunther came to the main roster and immediately picked up wins. Ilya came to the main roster and immediately started picking up L's.
I think part of that too is, well, like I said, he's limited by his size.
I mean, but he wasn't limited by his size before. We've seen what he can do. It's just a matter of how they book him. I mean, we've all seen guys, and I will give you what you, I will give some credence to what you're saying. Even when he was fighting Trick Williams for his send off, his last match in NXT for the NXT Heavyweight Championship when he lost to Trick, he was getting more offense on Trick than I felt he should have. Trick was a lot bigger than him. Trick is a tall guy,
Mhm.
and he was just kicking Trick's ass the entire match, and then Trick just happened to get lucky and then hit a trick shot, and that was that.
Mhm.
But from a believability standpoint, he's always going to suffer from that. Anytime you're a wrestler of smaller stature, you're going to have that to contend with. There's a way to believably present it. But if they just lean into it like him being vicious and as intense as what he is, I think that could be what separates him. But you can't, if he continues to lose like he is, even if they try to quote unquote protect him and have him not take a pinfall and get knocked out outside the ring or injured and things like that, you can't do that for so long.
Yeah.
He's definitely cooled off. He was at one point I would say one of the hottest prospects on the show, but now he just feels kind of like a regular guy.
I don't disagree. But all right, that's it, guys. Thank you for guys for tuning in to the Top Rope tier list game, the first ever. We will have more games, more wrestlers too. So be sure to tune in. All right. But be sure to check out the Two Small Marks Wrestling Show also every Saturday. And we're gonna see you guys next time. Peace.